Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update right now, Monday, April 2nd, 11:53 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. More snow ahead into the weekend. Disturbances ride through the active jet stream, dipping down into the northeast. Cold air remains in place for up to the next 10 days, and that's going to mean snow. Let's check out the current wind chills forecast for the next 2 to 4 hours while I'm making the video here. Very frigid. We could draw a freeze line where more than half of the country is below freezing. Huge sector of it extremely cold. These are conditions we would be looking for in February through the winter up in this region, not in April. There are going to be records broken all over the northern tier here. We're talking hundreds of cities breaking records that the mainstream will not be telling you about in the morning. And that's a heads up. Waves of cold air will keep the plains, Midwest, and Northeast shivering into the weekend. Guys, it's still the weekend. It's just Monday. That means on and on and on. They're really not putting the weight that this needs on it. Waves of cold air will keep the plains, Midwest, and Northeast shivering through the weekend, which means all week and into the weekend. On Monday morning, fresh snow cover helped Lincoln, Illinois, plunge to 1 degree below zero, setting an all-time April record low for the location ever. This is also just the third time on record in the state of Illinois that has recorded a sub-zero temperature in April, according to Dan Bruschenschneider of the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Kirksville, Missouri also set the new all-time record low temperature for the month of April by dipping to 5 degrees. Springfield, Illinois at 16, Peoria at 14, and Cedar Rapids, Iowa at 15 degrees, tying the all-time new daily records for April 2nd. And April 3rd is going to have quite a few more. A few daily record lows for April 1st were set Sunday morning, including Kansas City, 22 degrees, the tie, Dubuque, Iowa, 18 degrees, and Livingston, Montana, -1 degree. Single-digit lows were widespread Sunday morning from Montana to northern Minnesota and the upper peninsula of Michigan. A few spots even slipped below zero, including Clarksburg, Michigan at -4 and Malta, Montana at -6. Now, these waves of cold air are going to plunge south and east over the next 7 days. Wednesday morning could feature temperatures that are near daily record lows throughout the Midwest. Many cities, dozens, should be within a few degrees of the daily record lows for April 4th, including Sioux City, Iowa, Omaha, Nebraska, and Fargo, North Dakota. And that is a heads up. Grand solar minimum pattern in effect, and it is relentless. And it is just beginning. This is the first year. This winter has been Billings' third snowiest ever. I'll leave you links to that. Check out the GFS model quickly. It's showing heavy snow events all the way through the second week of April. Now, these snow areas have come north into North Carolina and Tennessee. They're not showing up in Georgia currently for the April 7th event, but we'll keep an eye on that. Heavy snow in South Virginia still showing up to 7 to 10 inches. And then we have this veritable blizzard moving up the central Midwest here in the middle of April. So we're going to watch that closely, and we're going to be watching flooding and hail. Let's go over to the National Weather Service Weather Ready Nation map, and you could check out all of the states in winter storm watches and warnings. We're talking Montana, North and South, all of South Dakota, Minnesota, Northern Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan, all winter storm watches and warnings for the next 24 hours. The weather is crazy, and it is going to continue to only get crazier. I can't wait to see the headlines. They will be non-existent as we move into central April with blizzard conditions across the central U.S. Let's talk about golf ball size hail possible this week as storms roll through the eastern hill country. We're talking East Texas, every part of East Texas with a high probability of golf ball size hail. If you're concerned, the East Hill country on Tuesday as a cold front moves through the area. Up to 1.5 inches of rain is forecast, as well as 1.5-inch hail. It's about the size of a golf ball. Bear with me as we parse up these videos. These pages. Indy weather. Heads up, you just received record snowfall yesterday, breaking all-time records back to 1894. And now we're talking large hail, isolated tornadoes possible in central Indiana where that snow event just took place. So if you live in this region, we're going to be praying for you. And that's a heads up. You get links to all this down the bottom left under the video where it says show more underneath of Oppenheimer Ranch Project. There's a gray area in caps that says show more. Click there. It will reveal all the links to all of these articles. Early April rain to return the risk of flooding and mudslides to Northern California. Here's the map. We're talking Thursday night and Friday nights this week. The first 2 rounds of rain and high country snow is scheduled to roll ashore into the Northern California during Thursday night. The rainfall during Thursday night is likely to be generated light and intermittent, with the most significant impacts in this horseshoe-shaped area here. Basically collaring Sacramento. The risk of downpours will increase as Friday progresses in the San Francisco and Sacramento areas. Airline delays are likely to mount by Friday evening as travel on some area roads may be difficult due to the effects of local heavy rainfall. We're going to keep an eye on this for deadly landslides and flash flooding. Alberta set a new record as temperatures dropped 15 degrees in mere minutes on Saturday. It was epic for Red Deer and other areas. March 2018 seemed brutally cold and snowy this year in Calgary. How bad was it? It was some of the worst. Grand Prairie dropped to negative 30 C overnight, breaking an 83-year-old record. Pincher Creek, negative 21 C, ending an 82-year-old record. And Red Deer hit minus 22 C, breaking a record low of 19.4 set back in 1975. Fort McMurray and Cold Lake set new temperature records on Friday with lows of minus 31 C and minus 21.7 C, respectively. Wow. Thanks, Al Gore. Now I'm standing on the top of a mountain surrounded by the Milky Way galaxy. And I don't know what to do with this information. It's just so hot. I wonder if we'll ever see snow again. A number of weather warnings and special weather statements have been issued across the province, including snowfall warnings. Places like Jasper National Park saw between 15 and 20 centimeters of snow fall from Thursday night to Saturday morning, while some local ski hills saw even more. And it is still puking snow up high in the Canadian Rockies. More cold weather is expected in Alberta for the weekend, with temperatures expected to remain below freezing for days in many locations. It's freezing up there. They're not planting corn anytime soon. Mango maize crops hit by unseasonable rain. Look at this guy. He's a little cross-eyed, and he's very concerned about these mangoes because they're no longer on the trees, which means they're not going to grow. Colossal loss. A farmer showing the damaged mangoes at Ranknishnanapuramam village in Kamaman on Monday. Not good news. In less than a fortnight, scores of chili, maize, paddy, and mangrove growers bore the brunt of nature's fury when yet another spell of unseasonable rain wreaked havoc in various parts of the district on Sunday night, taking a heavy toll on standing crops as well as the harvested produce. Crop losses mounting, Ice Age farmer. Put it on the map. Magnitude 6.8 strikes Bolivia. A powerful 6.8 that we predicted after the Blot Echo, and last night showed a 6.1. Right after I went to bed, a 6.8 popped off right next to that. This is obviously the apex of that movement in the region. But it was so deep that there were no reports of injuries or damages. That is good news. Seismic uptick, worldwide moderate uptick in earthquakes. We had a massive shocker here in Bolivia at 6.8, but it was down at 562.4 kilometers. Now, this could be bad news because we could be looking at a 7.8, 8.5 or greater in the next 24 hours. So don't think this is the final quake. And We'll just cross our fingers on that one. Modeling future earthquakes and tsunami risk in southwest Japan. Paper coming out yesterday from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. Now, these researchers unveil a new GPS-based method for modeling earthquake-induced tsunamis. This is for southwestern Japan along the Nakai Trough. A Nakai-induced tsunami is likely to hit there in the next few decades. At any moment, it has the potential to displace 4 times the number of people affected by the tsunami of 2011. This would be catastrophic loss of life. And there's the study region. Come read the details here. I'll leave it for you. Let's talk about Todd Kleckner and our friends over at 9 Risay, or however you say it. They have a Facebook page. Come over and like it here. And the reason you're going to like their Facebook page is because it's going to give you access to their website and their updates. Most importantly, the first podcast of the Rabbit Trap, which just happened on Sunday morning. A couple of multidisciplinary scientists came together to talk about some very interesting topics. Now, 9 Risay's weekly podcast, The Rabbit Trap, brings specialists, philosophers, and citizen scientists together for a roundtable discussion on topics that are verboten in the mainstream. We each offer up a few intriguing papers that are peer-reviewed to put on the table as fodder for the discourse. In this week's episode, we covered electric geology, transmutation in the Four Corners region, where I'm sitting. We got into the effects of Earth's surface electrical environment during magnetic excursions and pole flips, with special attention to how that might be inducing the Ebner effect and unlocking of the primeval DNA with static electric fields and the implications of rapid evolution and mass extinction in your future. And that will lead us into touching on bioelectricity and other forbidden topics that are just delicious to listen to. So come over here and I will leave you links to the first episode. It's long, but I'm sure Todd did a great job editing it, so I can't wait to listen to it. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to 9 Risay for us. Let's get into 1,000 subscribers this week. I'm going to continue to pester you until we all subscribe to his channel. Because without it, you won't gain any knowledge. We're talking about an independent group of unbiased scientists talking about the cutting edges of the fields of their specialty. And we bring it all together in a discussion that opens eyes and brings us through the rabbit trap, down holes and into corners and back up to the surface again. I think you'll like it. Let's talk about my friend Christian Westbrook over at the Ice Age Farmer. And also our friends over at The Watchers, who picked up his most recent video that he just put out as part of the Grow Your Own Food Challenge for the Grand Solar Minimum. Christian Westbrook, Ice Age Farmer, answers questions from a friend who was hesitant to start an aquaponics system. Now, the irony is so am I. I've been begging him to come here to start ours. He just came here and hung out, and we just got a little suntan. That's all that happened. But the fact is that one of the simplest, cleanest, and least demanding ways to grow food, both now and potentially in many different versions in the future, are contained in Aquaponics 101, Clean Food in No Time, which you can find over here at The Watchers or at Ice Age Farmer on YouTube. So I'm going to leave you links to this, where you can see his cute little mug here, and give it a thumbs up like I did. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Why wouldn't you? It's a no-brainer. We're talking about Aquaponics 101 by Ice Age Farmer. Now, let's just end with some positive notes. Sea ice thickness is still increasing at a rapid rate and volume. Thickness is over 3 meters thick all the way across from one side of the planet to the other. And we're building heavy multi-year ice here up in the northern portions of Greenland and the islands, which is good because we're headed into a new glacial period. We have ice over 15 to 20 feet thick in some regions here just north of Hudson Bay, and some of the thickest multi-year ice in Hudson Bay currently. that hasn't been seen for decades. The ice volume is well in the standard norm for the decadal time scale and is rapidly increasing, which I am going to predict will peak well above the median line here on the 3rd or sometime May 1st. So we'll be watching that closely because that's what we do at the channel. Share this with like-minded people. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't. And there's plenty of good stuff to come, so keep watching. Go over there and subscribe to Nine Risay. Listen to the Rabbit Trap and see what kind of information is out there. After we had this 3-hour discussion, which he's edited down to just an hour and a half, for your pleasure, we basically concluded that all science needs to start from the ground up. It's all nonsense. We have a long way to go. The most important thing I know is that I don't know anything. Be safe, everybody.